first time I encountered the Kemetic culture was not through a book, class, or television. The first time I encountered Egypt was when I went on a trip to Georgia. The land was called Tamaray, and I saw something that would register in my consciousness and resonate with my soul that would change me for a lifetime. This land was beautiful, and so was the ceremonies. When I went back home, I changed the way that I ate and the way that I thought. I had to bring my wife out to this beautiful abode, where our people were living in a state of peace. My wife came to Tamaray on my next trip, and she too was greatly impacted. She changed her hair, her diet, and her mentality. Our experience on this land strengthened our relationship in ways that we would never imagine. In time, she would become a leader in this community, thereby inheriting a great responsibility. She would become a leader in this community. 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 She would become a leader in this community, thereby inheriting a great responsibility that will mold and fashion her as the ideal wife. Well learned, beautiful and intelligent, open-minded and committed to her relationship.
Let me get this right. Not only was Dr. Malachi Z. York's POLIGHT's Grand Master Teacher, but his wife, Amunat, the one that he parades around, that he considers his first wife, was a leader in the Nubian nation under Dr. Malachi Z. York. You heard it, Amunat was a leader. That means she was leading within the Nubian nation during the time period that these allegations against Dr. Malachi Z. York was made. She was in a leadership role. Has POLIGHT ever held her accountable or responsible for the position or role she played in the Nubian nation, since he is so much against sex offenders? If this was the case, if he really is against rapists and sex offenders as he speaks, then he would have to be against his wife, which would be an organizer in a pedophile reign. Because as you know, Dr. Malachi Z. York was accused of being a serial pedophile rapist. POLIGHT claims he has no idea what happened on the land. He don't know if York is guilty or not guilty. He don't know. He says he doubts if Dr. York is guilty. Well, why don't you go to your wife, Amunat, and ask her, since she was a leader on Tamaray in Georgia, on Shady Dale Road, since she was a leader, shouldn't she know if she had a leadership role? Why does POLIGHT pretend to be so confused and not so sure? If you weren't so sure, why would you put up all the legal money to support Dr. Malachi Z. York? Why did you fund and invest in that? These are some questions that's going to have to be answered. POLIGHT, you claim you put all the money up. You claim you don't know what's going on. But your wife is a damn leader. Amunat, the melanated one with the beautiful one with the black fro, a leader in the Nubian nation. If he's going to be a leader and present himself up there in the way that he is, and he's going to be judging and condemning everybody else for their statements and for their positions, then he's going to have to be held accountable. These questions are going to have to be answered. It's like George Bush wanted for war crimes. It's like Abu Ghraib prison and Rumsfeld. When a new leader comes in, Obama, and you look back and you say, well, what's your thoughts? What position did you play in the administration? Well, his wife played an administrative position. She was a part of what many would call a pedophile regime. And now they act like nothing happened. They have no accountability or responsibility to the community to answer serious questions in regards to the situation of which they were a part of. They've yet to address it or deal with it. They act like they are objective and outside of the complete circumstance and situation, which we know cannot be true. If his wife was a leader, Amunet, a leader. Since you want to attack other people within the conscious community, Brother Polite, you're going to have to answer these questions. You're going to have to quit ducking and dodging, because your integrity and your leadership is questionable with these type of shenanigans and tactics that you pull. We question the integrity of your leadership. When you step away from your master teacher, you step away from the organization in a smooth way that you once was a part of, that have all of these infamous allegations. You doing some shucking and jiving, some buck dancing. That's what you're doing. You're trying to skip over these facts and these issues. You're going to have to deal with them, brother. Now, with this video, I want to do a disclaimer, because this video, it's not an attack on Dr. Malachi York or the Nubian Nation. I gave some remedy in my first video saying of how we could potentially free Dr. Malachi York. So this is not an attack on Dr. Malachi York or the Nubians or any of his administration. This is a question to POLIGHT, dealing with his position on things and his integrity as a so-called leader within the black conscious community. The whole issue with Dr. Malachi York and the guilty plea based on pedophilia or whatever occurred, when we start to really go at the real pedophiles in this society, we'll be going at the Queen of England, we'll be going at Bill Clinton, Prince Charles, we'll be going against the ruling families of white supremacy, the real pedophiles that are in power to take down whoever they want, who own the largest percentage of the wealth in the world. Nobody's taking them down, and they are known pedophiles. Nobody is stopping them from ruling, and nobody really cares enough to really investigate or bring down what the hell they're doing. This is a reality. So our leaders should be freed and liberated too. No way is this white man in any position to judge or condemn anybody black when they are the goddamn devil themselves. So I gave some remedy of how we could free Dr. Malachi York, but this is a question to POLIGHT based on his positions that he has made and his attacks that he has put forth. And he really has made himself look weak and spineless in this entire situation. Because if you watch the martial art movie, the first thing the student does when he gets his skills up is avenge his teacher. The first thing Obama got in office was to avenge his teachers. Avenge his teachers. To avenge the leaders that were before him, and to give praise and honor to those that are before him. And they are murderers, they are pedophiles, they are killers, but Obama still praised them. And he carried out their work. He took down Gaddafi on their behalf to avenge them, right? He took down Osama bin Laden on their behalf, because that's how much he respected their leaders. And when they went at Bush for war crimes, Obama pardoned him and stood by him, even though he is a murderer and he is wicked to the entire world. But Obama still stood by him. So any man who cannot stand by those before him, cannot stand behind his leaders and teachers, is no goddamn man or leader at all. This is a reality. If you don't have no integrity, you ain't no goddamn leader. POLIGHT lacks integrity. He ain't the only one. There's a new lack of integrity trend going on. We see that with Divine Prospect as well, with him going up whispering to Sinetta, talking about the Hebrews are having an event against what you're doing. I need to tell you this. Whispering. Lacking integrity against the Hebrew community, against his Hebrew brotherhood, not showing no integrity. Why would you go and do that after POLIGHT embarrassed you on the couch? After they joked and made fun of you and showed how lack of integrity and how much you don't stand for nothing. You still go and whisper to them and turn against your Hebrew Israelite brothers and your Hebrew Israelite community. There's a lack of integrity in the community. Nobody within the conscious community is perfect. Nobody. From the beginning to now. But even where there lack perfection, integrity must be had. You must have integrity. Because any black leader knows that our fate will be the fate of those before us. That our fight is the fight of those before us. That's why we should stand up for the political prisoners, to have our political prisoners freed. That's why we should honor and praise those that were martyred for our cause, that we stand for black nationalism, black liberation, black enlightenment. We must continue the fight of those who have come before us and become more successful and keep focused on what the fight is. Dr. Malachi York was rich. Having wealth was not Dr. Malachi York's problem. And having wealth or the lack of wealth is not our problem as a community. It's being willing to stand up as men with integrity for one another and for nationalism and nation building, and gain the power, strength, and momentum to deal with our enemy so that we can triumph into the future of what we're doing. And my final words, just to end it on a soft note, because I didn't want to make this video too long, is where the fuck is POLIGHT's hairline at, man? You talk about all these herbs and natural health, but clearly with all the super herbs that you taking, you got some type of mineral deficiency or something, because you walking around looking like the Nigerian version of goddamn it George Jefferson. That's hypocrisy, man. Get you some hair growth formula or something like that, man. You mean to tell me Dr. Sabi ain't got no hair growth formula for you, man? Come on, man, quit playing these goddamn games. Join my website, www.kingnobleBlackRulership.com. I bet y'all thought I was through. I'm not through yet. I got something else to add to it. I can't leave this part out. This is the sickest part of the story here, though, to show you that this loyalty and the lack of integrity that Brother POLIGHT has. I mean, this just tops it off. Not only do you kind of turn your back on your master teacher, step away from the organization at a time when they are going through the most, when they are being attacked and challenged the most, not only do you step away from the organization, because really what you're supposed to do when your organization is going through stuff and got it rough, that's when you show your real stick-to-itiveness. That's when you really stand firm and show what you really made of. But he walks away and starts his own thing. That's like Bush goes under attack and Obama comes in and just starts his own government. That wouldn't make any damn sense, would it? It's when your leadership is under fire, that's when you're supposed to have the most integrity and show the most bravery, the most courage, and the most loyalty. But what's sick about this is not only did he turn his back and play off the details and act very objective or just like a tourist on the land and not show his real connection to the events and circumstances and situations that happened on Tamaray and being a part of that entire controversy, not only did he kind of sidestep out of there, he then went to go and link up with the enemy of his teacher. Now this is, come on now. Okay, say he just didn't want to be part of the controversy. He just wanted to lay low. Okay, whatever. All right, we see that. But then he goes and links up with the enemy of his teacher. Dr. Ben was an enemy of Dr. Malachi York. He was the arch nemesis of Dr. Malachi York. They went back and forth. There was a war between schools. This is a fact. Come on. How you going to link up and praise the enemy of your teacher and really not even put too much time in really praising your teacher? Because it would be unpopular to do so. So if that to me does not show loyalty and a lack of integrity, what does? And how is he going to lead if he ain't nothing but a politician trying to get money, drive Bentleys? He's not concerned about having no integrity to no nation building and no real issues that we confront with as far as white supremacy. He's trying to get rich or die trying. He don't give a goddamn about the condition of the black community. Otherwise, he would tackle these real issues. He would tackle the real issues and confront the real challenges that has come up against us building our own sovereign community and nation. This is a fact. I'm going to conclude at that. Wait on part 3.